With an area of nearly 20,000 square kilometers, Kruger National Park is one of the biggest national parks in the world. Kruger is bigger than entire countries like Slovenia, Qatar, and Fiji. The park spans from near the Eswatini border in the south all the way to the Zimbabwe border in the north. Many game parks in other African countries favor or require you to be on an expensive guided jeep tour with fancier accommodations to see the animals. In South Africa, you can self-drive and pay the daily conservation fee yourself and freely explore the national parks. This summer, Cece and I rented a car from Johannesburg Airport and headed to Kruger National Park. We had reserved 3 nights of bungalows inside the park for about $70 US a night to allow you to stay in the park and not have to leave the gate before sunset. If you don't have a booking inside the park, you must exit the park by 5:30 p.m. in the wintertime before it gets dark. As Cece doesn't drive a manual car, I would be in charge of the driving, and she would take the lead in photography, navigating, preparing food, and of course, scanning for the animals with me. On our first morning, we entered the Maleleni Gate at 6 a.m. Peanut butter jelly pancakes at Kruger National Park for breakfast. We were greeted by a pack of water buffaloes munching on grass in the early light. A half hour later, we drove up on a family of hyenas who were playing and crossing the road right in front of us. An hour later, we couldn't believe it when we briefly saw a leopard strolling down the road in front of us. While many people take big breaks during the day, we drove nearly from sunrise to sunset every day to give ourselves the best chance to see more animals. We just saw a pack of baboons, and now we got a whole herd of elephants here right off the side to the car. We found that by driving primarily the paved roads and being on the roads more hours than nearly anyone else, it's so many of these beautiful spots in Kruger where the animals are just right on the side of the road. Can you believe it?
I'm so
we
happy.
Found hippos.
I'm so happy. I'm so happy. They're so cute. They're so cute.
We found hippos.
I'm really happy.
We saw a ton of animals. Zebras and wildebeest would often be congregated around water holes, relaxing in the warmth of the afternoon sun. Elephants were munching foliage on the side of the road, and when their hunger took them across the road, they would often cross right in front of a nearby car. Seeing a massive African elephant walk right in front of you on the road is an unbelievable feeling that is hard to describe. Warthogs were digging for grubs in the ground and would suddenly run off with their tails held high. In the drier winter months, animals are easier to see, as the grasses are lower and the animals tend to be closer to the water holes, which are a source of life in the dry season. We couldn't believe how many elephants we saw in the southern part of Kruger. Driving around the Crocodile Bridge and Lower Sabie areas of the park, it sometimes seemed like we would see elephants every few minutes. Seeing a baby elephant being protected by their family is a really cool sight as well. As the afternoon wore on, we made our way closer to the Lower Sabie rest camp along the river. Elephants often come down to the river in the afternoons to enjoy a bath, and giraffes munch on the greener leaves on the river banks. Sunset Dam is the perfect place to spend the last few minutes of the day with the local hippos, as it is right near the entrance to Lower Sabie Rest Camp, and allowed us to get back to the gate right before the 5:30 cutoff for sunset. We were fortunate to find and reserve bungalows online about a month before our trip, which we really enjoyed staying at, as they didn't force us to leave the park each night before sunset. Okay, so for dinner here in our first rest camp, we got half a chicken, because South Africa does chicken, that we got last night, some yummy bread, and we got a burger, which is pretty affordable at like $9 for a burger and fries for that patio view out there looking out on the river. On day 2, we left Lower Sabie before sunrise, and we came up on another family of hyenas who were walking across the road to take turns scavenging on a leftover kill from the night before. On day 2, we would drive from Lower Sabie all over the south and southeastern parts of the park. Elephants and baboons were all over our route in the morning. Warthogs are such cute animals that scurry around waving their tails as they look for grubs. Impalas and wildebeests are all over the place. Grazing and the water holes once again proved to be hot spots for life. We loved finding hippos. The hippos hover in the water and mud not to get sunburned. Seeing a giraffe cautiously making its way down to the watering hole behind a group of hippos was a fun sight. You do have long stretches of driving where, particularly in the middle of the day, you don't see that many animals. However, we found that the more hours we spent on the roads, the more we saw. It is such a unique experience cruising slowly down the roads where at any moment one of the world's largest and most impressive animals could be around the next bend. We continued past little mongoose, giraffe, and zebra before coming up to a group of cars which could only mean one thing: a big cat. We were able to get a brief glimpse of the cheetah as we made our way slowly through the traffic jam. It was an exciting way to end our 11-hour day of non-stop driving through Kruger National Park. Satara Camp, Unit 147. Here we are at the second night of our 3 nights in Kruger National Park. We are at Satara Rest Camp. This place is huge. It has lots of areas for camping. It has all the bungalows here circled up in the individual regions. And it also has a gas station, reception, restaurant. It has everything you can need here. Really a cool place to stay right in the middle of Kruger National Park.
Life and death are woven into the fabric of everyday experience. And bush is a reminder of our animal instinct of survival.
Cece and I don't like to sign up for expensive tours, but at a reasonably priced $20 a person for a guided 3-hour game drive, we decided to try one for one morning. Our guide was very knowledgeable.
Everything is back in a normal way like it was before. So everything is under control.
And it was fun to be the first ones out of the gate at 5 a.m., an hour before the other people, and see giraffes, rhinos, lots of grazers, and even 3 female lions on our game drive. From a distance, we even saw Casper, the famous white lion of Kruger. For me, honestly, it was nice not to have to drive, as I had been driving about 10 hours a day since we arrived in South Africa. After the morning game drive, we came back and got the car and hit the road again. This afternoon, we saw lots of kudu, which are some of the biggest grazers in Kruger. We made our way up towards our 3rd and final rest camp, Olifants Rest Camp, which is right next to the Olifants River, a popular spot for local elephants to cluster. He's running. Eating healthy. Sardines with peri-peri sauce and some spicy bread. So this is how we eat when we're staying in the rest camps. Yogurt, sardines, bread, cinnamon rolls, canned tuna, and some beans. Why not? Bring yourself some food along the way. It's 5:10 here right before sunset. We're finally allowed to get out of the car here at Olifants Bridge on our final night in Kruger National Park.
It makes it look like our cars a little cleaner.
Yeah.
Now we don't have to get a wash.
Thank you. Good car wash.
You're welcome.
All right, what do we have for dinner?
Crocodile schnitzel and rice and a peri-peri quarter chicken and chips.
Ooh, looks good. We got up at sunrise and left Olifants in the early morning as we had to drive 8 hours out of the park to get back to Johannesburg today. We were sad that it was our last morning self-driving in Kruger, in this beautiful and amazing corner of the world. A few minutes out of the gate, we had another new animal sighting. A wild dog ran playfully alongside us for a good 5 or 10 minutes. Shortly afterward, we came upon a mom, a juvenile, and a baby hyena. The younger hyenas were full of energy and loved to play in the cool morning with their mom. It was such a fun way to say goodbye to Kruger National Park and start our long drive back to Johannesburg. Kruger National Park is a truly beautiful place. By renting our own car, bringing lots of food and snacks, and reserving the 3 bungalows along the way, we were able to freely drive all over the park and enjoy the freedom and wonder of being in this animal kingdom where the world's most impressive animals roam freely. We absolutely loved our 4 days visiting Kruger independently, and I would highly recommend this experience to anyone who appreciates the beauty and wonder our world has to offer.